How are you all? Awesome. Good. Who had a long day at work? Get ready for some incredible information. We're excited to have you all here tonight. For some of you, you got invited. We're going to do a health presentation tonight. A lot of us are part of a company called Trinot. With Trinot, we've been teaching, for the last 4 years, we've been teaching financial education and how if people really had the tools, how could their life change financially? And what our company has just launched is a health side of Trinot. Because if you really think about it, what happens if people are financially stressed? What does it usually affect? Their health. And on the other side, if you're not proactive about being healthy, what do you end up spending in the future to try to get better? Money. So don't you believe that usually the biggest two stresses in people's lives revolve around money and health? Welcome to Trinot. That's what we just launched. That's what our owners have had a vision for a long time. They've got the foundation around the health tools on helping people manage, protect, and grow their money. And we've just launched our health side. So we are blessed. The reason our room's packed tonight is we are extremely blessed to have a gentleman here. He's really one of the founders of the health side of Trinot. Him and his wife have been studying the really gut health and health in general and natural ways of healing for 10 plus years, I believe. He'll tell you his story. And he's been working with us in Trinot on the financial side for a while, so we've been blessed to work with him in Phoenix on that side. So when Trinot decided they were going to launch a core health that everyone really needs to be educated on, what better than to go to someone that was internal to Trinot but has been studying this for years and years and years. And every time they talk, I don't want them to stop. In fact, a lot of us leaders were at a cabin about a month ago, and this is where I really understood the power of health education, why the room's packed tonight, is we were sitting there in this room, and him and his wife got up and started talking, and people started asking, and they were educating us on stuff that's so basic and so common knowledge, but we don't think about it, and you're going to see what I mean in a minute. But all of us, we didn't want them to stop. In fact, the owner of the company was like, we have to stop this and talk about compensation, right? And we were like, no, we don't care. We want more health info, right? And the reason for that is people want to feel good. Some people, they don't even remember when the last time they felt good was. And he has offered knowledge all across the country. He's traveled. He's talked to thousands and thousands of people. This is probably a small group for him. He talks in front of a lot of people. But he's here to pour into us tonight, to educate us on how we can all really feel better. We are trying to bring more chairs in. Are there more chairs over there, Brian? So we're going to try to funnel some chairs in, you guys. But I just want to turn it over to a gentleman that I respect a ton, and I am so happy to be in business with, Mr. Sean Loomer.
That was awesome. Very sweet. What's happening? You guys good? So maybe some more chairs? I won't talk very long. That way you won't get too restless standing up. I'd rather stand anyways. I don't do very well sitting very long. I'm one of those people. Can't deal with it. So met Crystal, I don't know how long ago now, about a year ago. She's amazing. Love Crystal. And it's just been really a very interesting journey with Trinot, to say the least. I'll give you a little bit of background on myself and my wife. So you get me tonight. My wife's like way better than me. She's way smarter, way better looking. She's super funny. I was actually born in Tucson. My wife's from the East Coast, from Cape Cod. So any East Coast people in here? Yeah, Patriots. Oh, she says it like this, Patriots. So I always have to warn everyone because she just says it. She doesn't. There's no filter. Sometimes I have to say, "Hey, your name's Tyler." Hey, you got to use your West Coast voice right now. Yeah. You're kind of scaring people. So, anyways, we'll keep it really basic but very informative. A little bit of history on my wife and I. I met my wife about 20 years ago. And at teaching doctors and athletes and everyday people nutrition, specifically things that I had never heard of 20 years ago, like plant-based enzymes, probiotics, whole food supplements, things of that nature. And that caught my attention. See, at that time, I was a head football coach up at Valley Christian High School in Chandler. I had a lot of pain in my hands. And since it's my experience, I'll share with you my experience. I had arthritis in my hands. I was going to a massage therapist up in Phoenix in Awatsuki, actually, for about 1.5 years. And every week, she would just work on my hands. Because I had tremendous pain in my hands. I was in my mid-30s. I thought I was kind of taking care of myself, so I didn't understand why I was feeling this pain. You know, I had already lost my mom to colon cancer, and I was starting to juice and be, do my own research to be a little more preventative for my kids and whatnot. And I went and saw what now became my wife, Tylene, and I went and saw her, and I said, listen, I've got this pain in my hands. I've gone to 2 specialists in Phoenix and 1 in Scottsdale, and they say I've got arthritis, and so it is what it is. I was just one of those guys like everyone else, right? We don't know what we don't know, and so we know. And she's like, okay, that's great. I'm sure they did tell you that. She goes, I'm going to tell you, you're telling me you have arthritis. And I'm like, yeah, I do. She goes, I'm going to tell you, no, you don't. And I'm like, yes, I do. I'm living this dream right now. You're not, so don't tell me. And she says, well, I'm going to tell you they have to create a disease so they can name a drug. And she said, your situation, Sean, is that your body has lost the ability to digest completely protein when you eat it. And I'm not a very big guy, and I went to school on a football scholarship, and I was always trying to get bigger and eat more and work out and take protein and all that stuff. And so I'm sitting there, she's telling me this, I'm like, yeah, I do a lot of protein. And she said, so that's all it is. I'm like, what do you mean that's all it is? It's more than that. No, it's not more than that. And so I listened to her, and for about 3, 4, maybe 5 days, I remember calling her. And I didn't really know her, and I remember calling her on my old cell phone. I was up in Phoenix. The thing was pretty heavy, and I picked it up, and I said, because I was driving, and all of a sudden my hands didn't hurt. And I remember calling her that day and saying, listen, I don't really know who you are. You're not a doctor, but you help doctors, and you teach them nutrition, and I think that's cool and great. You work with athletes, I think that's even cooler. But I just have one question. My hands don't hurt. I just want to know if the pain's coming back. That's all I care about. And she said, well, you didn't listen to me very well. You need to come and see me again. And so she wouldn't answer. So I went and saw her again, and I said, okay, explain this again to me. And she said, Sean, you eat protein. I go, yes, I do. I eat a lot of things. And she says, your body doesn't care if you're having a protein bar, a protein shake, a chicken breast, or whatever it is. When it's looking for protein, it's looking for the amino acid. And your body doesn't break it down to an amino acid, so your body doesn't recognize it. In your body, Sean, it stays as uric acid. I said, okay, whatever. She goes, no, not whatever. That's what's happening. And I said, okay, well, I'm starting to understand. And she did a little demonstration, which I'll do for you in just a minute. And I go, and she's a really pretty lady, actually. So I didn't tell her all my stuff the first time I met her. And I said, well, listen, I got some other issues going on. I get acid reflux. I'm the youngest of 8 kids. It runs in my family for whatever reason. I haven't had that all week. I said, I also get indigestion now. I don't know why, but I eat meals and I'll start, does anyone ever get that and you kind of feel it up here? I said, I get that. And I go, I haven't had that in a week. Is that from these enzyme things you're talking about? She goes, yes, that's those enzyme things that I'm talking about. And to this day, almost 20 years later, probably about 19 years now, I've never experienced pain in my hands. I've never experienced acid reflux. I've never experienced indigestion. My stomach is flattened out, which is kind of cool. And at 53, I feel 100%. And most of us don't remember what it feels like to feel 100%. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
In fact, we kind of think, well, I'm getting older, so I've just worn my body out, and I'm going to just start feeling this way. It is what it is. And I'm telling you, it doesn't need to be that way. Yes, our bodies are all different, and yes, we've had different life experiences, but don't settle for that. Don't settle for that. And we're going to show you just a couple basic things. I want to just talk specifically about digestion and what that means to you. My wife and I don't label ourselves anything. Okay? She researches still to this day. Next time I'll bring her with me. anywhere from 2 to 8 hours a day. It is her life. That's what she chooses to do. And because she does that, I know a bunch of stuff that I never really was seeking. So you're getting the aftermath. It just happens. And she does teach. She's probably trained, I don't know how many health practitioners at this point in her career, probably 1,500, a couple thousand, who knows. We work with the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, the NCAA, Olympic athletes, X-Game athletes, and that's cool and that's great. I kind of like the athletes. She could care less. She's not a sports girl. But I was fascinated that these athletes would reach out to us. But really, we set out, and actually, our first nutrition company we started in Tucson. And it was just an education company. It wasn't about anything else except raising awareness to people to maybe do a little bit more for yourselves by taking your health more in your own hands. Does that make sense? Because I think we're at a point in this country, at least, in our society, where we're not always going to accept what we hear. We know the food's different. We know there are a lot of chemicals. We know the environment's different. Okay, our bodies are not typically drug deficient. We're nutrient deficient. We don't want to mask an issue if we can find out why the issue started in the first place and what can we do to see if the body will repair itself from that issue. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's all we're really talking about. So who knows the difference between cooked food, right? What would you say cooked food is? Anybody? Dead. Dead. It's cooked. You can do your own research if you want, 114 degrees, 116, 118, whatever it is, our food is dead when we cook it. Even if it's good food. When you heat it, you kill it. Always remember, life gives life. Fresh and living food gives life to your body. Does that make sense? Okay, have you ever bitten an apple? And what happens if you set that apple down?
It's brown.
Hopefully. Hopefully it turns brown. If your apples aren't turning brown, you're eating the wrong apple, by the way. Okay, you may want to stay away from that. No, that's true. You know, my wife and I, we have 6 kids, 7 grandkids, and not too long ago we had 3 of them spending the night. That's always an adventure. And one of them had a little football game the day before, and I went to get his stuff out of the car the next morning. And I remember I had my oldest daughter's car, and I went to get their bag out of the back of their SUV, and there was this thing right there. And I looked at it, and my wife does events and weddings, and I'm like, is that like a staged thing? What? It looks like an apple core. But it couldn't be an apple core because it's white. It was fake. And I figured out it was an apple core. I brought it into my wife, and I'm like, hey, I don't have my readers on, but this is like a real apple. What is this? I found this in the car. She goes, that's a real apple. Or it's supposed to be a real apple. You guys see, our kids don't even know what fruits and vegetables are supposed to taste like. And I don't mean you specifically, I'm talking in general. Okay? Our food, that apple should start to break itself down. See, enzymes are the life force of food. In food, God made our food, these foods are made perfectly. They have just the right amount of enzymes to break themselves down. How about a banana? You ever set a banana on the counter too long, what happens? It's brown. You leave it there too long, what happens? It starts oozing out of the sides. It starts breaking itself down. Okay? Real simple. Banana cream pie, you cook it, you kill it, tastes really good. I love that. But it's dead. So what we want to make sure we talk about is our little bank account or battery, whatever you want to call it, our pancreas is full of digestive enzymes. And those enzymes are there to help our body break foods down that we eat. Because when we cook our food, we kill the enzymes. Enzymes, they're catalysts. They're the life force of food. So when you heat it, you kill it. Does that make sense? You tracking with me? Okay. Well, there's a lot of people in here. I don't know how many people are here, 100-ish. But let's just say out of all of us, what if we were born on the same day, at the same time? We were all the same age. That'd be super cool, because I see a lot of young people in here. But we had different parents and different grandparents. We would all have a different little account, bank account, whatever you want to call it, of digestive enzymes. So what that means is we don't know where we start in the first place. We don't know where we start. So for example, one of my daughters is lactose intolerant. Is anyone familiar with being lactose intolerant? Do you feel that pain if you're lactose intolerant? You feel uncomfortable. Okay? She's lactose intolerant. I am not. Okay? All that means is she ran out of the enzyme lactase. She ran out. So her body will no longer break milk sugars down. So if she eats dairy, she's what? She's uncomfortable. Does that make sense? So she ran out of a specific enzyme to break a specific thing down. That's milk sugar. What about proteins? What about carbs? What about fats? What about all these things? And everything we don't break down completely. See, enzymes unlock the nutrients when you eat your food. They unlock the nutrients. So all of a sudden, if they're not unlocking it, if they're not breaking it down, what do you think happens with it? It just sits there. It rots. And toxic chaos begins to happen in our body. It's not like it's going to happen today from eating something this morning necessarily. It's compounding. It's doing this over and over. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, desserts, over and over every day. And things start to go wrong because the body's not working the way it was meant to work. Because as a society, we eat way too much cooked and processed food. Ever since World War II, the food's changed. Canned food, TV dinners. Anyone my age? Remember TV dinners? I'm the youngest of 8. I had my shares of TV. Okay? Food's changed. And so it's caught up to us. Now we have issues. Now we have 8 and 9-year-olds with arthritis. Does that make any sense? Come on. Of course not. It doesn't make any sense. So we want to make sure we're going to break our food down when we eat it. So this just shows you, if I can find one, this is an example of cooked and processed food. It's just a pudding, a little snack pack pudding. I'm glad Crystal handed me a vanilla instead of a chocolate. You'll see why in a minute. But no matter how much I stir this pudding, it's still thick and processed. I'm not trying to hold it in. I'm just trying to hold this spoon. See, right? It's still thick. I can keep stirring and stir and stir and stir, and it's gonna stay the same. If I take a little plant-based digestive enzyme, which we've done all the thinking for you, this little capsule will break down a Thanksgiving meal. How do you feel after you eat a Thanksgiving meal?
Full and tired.
Yeah, full and tired. Something big and heavy. My wife wasn't with me today, so she went and ate kind of naughty today. I had to confess, just get that out of the way right now. It's a Mexican restaurant down south. Got it. That place is right. That is so good. But I'll tell you what, I took 4 of these. True story. No reason to lie to you. I took 4 of these today to make sure I was okay. So I'm going to open one of these, and it's just a little veggie capsule. It's tiny. There's really no taste to this. I'll open it up. I'll put it in here, hopefully. If it all comes out. If it doesn't, well, it'll still work. And let me just stir it around. Kind of like when we chew our food or we digest our food. Where do you think digestion starts, by the way? In your mouth. I was the youngest of 8 kids. I didn't chew my food very well. I ate as fast as I could. I ate whatever I could get. Probably wasn't very smart of me. Smart to get the food, but it wasn't the healthiest way I could have done things. And so what happens is, as our body digests food, see, digestion, you have to remember something. How many people in here think they eat good? Yeah. All right. How many people think I don't eat good? Right? I did not eat good today. Well, whether you eat good or not so good, whatever you eat, you better digest it. Because you ever hear people say you are what you eat? No. You are what you digest. You are what you break down. Period. And I consider, I don't even need to stir this anymore. I can set it down. Hopefully I won't spill this everywhere. It wasn't very long, was it? A minute maybe? I'm going to move this spoon so you don't think I'm holding. I don't know if you can see this or not. Okay. I would do it again and pour it this way, but better not, just in case I spill it. What just happened? It digested it. It broke it down completely to the smallest molecule. I don't know what nutrients are in a snack pack pudding, but whatever nutrients are in there, you're going to get them. You want to get nutrients from your food, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, whatever it is that you're eating, right? Your body's looking for certain things. And most likely your body's missing some of these nutrients because your body has not been able to process them correctly for maybe a long period of time. Maybe you process most of your foods very well. Maybe you're fortunate that way. I'll tell you this, at the age of about 20, every 10 years or so, you lose about 10% of your ability to digest an entire food. Remember, we don't know where we started. You guys tracking with me on this? Is it starting to make sense? So what happens when you use a digestive enzyme? This is just a visual. You don't run to the bathroom. My vanilla is way better to use than chocolate. People always say that. You can maybe run and go to the bathroom. No, you will most likely become a little more regular. And believe me, that's a good thing. Okay? One thing I learned from my wife and Dr. Tanya, everyone around, we talk a lot of poop. There's a lot of poop talk going on. And most people don't know that because we start out as kids and we go to school and it's not comfortable. And we don't want to go to the bathroom. We wait. And girls are worse. They really need that perfect setting, that perfect time for the most part. They're going to wait and they hold it. And they hold it. And they hold it. And they're embarrassed. And that's really bad. But who teaches us that? Okay, most of us don't talk poop. It's just not one of those things we talk about. Let me tell you what, you should talk some poop all the time. The more you poop, the better you feel. All right. Okay? It's all about the poop. Okay, so yes, you'll probably become more regular, most likely. Here's the other thing that'll happen. You'll start to get energy from your food. We talked about digesting a Thanksgiving meal. Instead of eating a big meal, a big heavy meal, and wanting to go, sit down or lay down and watch football on Thanksgiving, it's not such a bad thing. You could run around and play football if you feel like, because you have energy. How many of you have a job or school and you go and you eat in you eat lunch maybe or whatever it is in that midday kind of deal? You start to get a little lethargic. Okay, it shouldn't be happening now. We should be getting energized when we eat. You have to think of food that way. Once in a while you can go eat what I ate today and just go enjoy that. And I'm not perfect. My wife, we're not perfect eaters. We eat pretty clean most of the time. My wife can out eat, oh my goodness. She can eat. She loves food. She always says, I do this because I love food so much. And that's really, we're all different that way. Let me ask you a question. Fresh and living food versus cooked and processed food. What percentage do you think a day, when you go home tonight and you're going to lay down before you go to sleep, ask yourself, everything I ate today, this is a bad day for me to do this, by the way. How much of my food was fresh and living, and how much of it was cooked or processed? What would you say in a day? What's your percentage of fresh and living food? Honestly, no judgment here.
0.
Yeah. 0? Good answer. Okay. What would it be? Have you ever thought about that? I saw some research a few years ago and it was ridiculous. It said the average American spent, it was like $1.70 or $1.80 a week on fresh and living food. And that included French fries because they were counting potatoes. I'm done. So, life gives life, and so fresh and living food helps you get life. Don't you want to give yourself more life? Okay, so you're actually taxing your body. You're almost at a break even when you eat good food. Does that make sense? You're getting nutrients, you're getting some value there, but when you're not completely breaking that food down, you're actually putting more pressure on the body. See, it's all about how do I put less pressure on my body. Okay, so that's kind of what we're talking about. That's why we're talking about digestion for so long, because if you're not digesting your food, what's the point? Everything starts with digestion. And so that's just a little plant-based digestive enzyme. It'll digest whatever food you eat. And there's a little, what we call stabilized probiotics in there. If you're familiar with probiotics, a little maintenance supply. Stabilized meaning they're in a cryogenic state. They're asleep. And they'll come to life, right, when you take them. We're going to keep things real basic, but I'll ask you to kind of ponder this thought. There's so much different information out there. A lot of people buy probiotics that are refrigerated, right? Mm-hmm. Well, why? If it has to be refrigerated, how is it going to live in the body temperature of your body long enough to colonize and do what it's supposed to do? It probably isn't. Is there some value there? Of course there is. But to completely get the job done? No. No. So enzymes and probiotics is what we're talking about here. Digestion is imperative to your body. You'll hear the most random, I don't know if I call them testimonials, but you'll just hear from people. I just hung up the phone on the way over here. A gentleman called me. I think he's mid-40s. He said, Sean, I don't know what are in these enzyme things, but I just played basketball today for the first time in years. I ran up and down the court. We played 3 games, and I couldn't believe I could do that. And I only went and played because my knee didn't hurt and my Achilles didn't hurt. And it was from I've been taking these enzymes. And he started asking me, he goes, I don't understand how these work. Why was I able to do that? So it's not about a magic pill. However, enzymes are pretty magical in my opinion. The research, there's a ton of research on plant enzymes back in the 1930s. Okay? I call him the godfather of enzymes, Dr. Edward Howard. I think the book is Enzyme Nutrition. If you ever want to know anything about enzymes. But it's been there. We just don't know what we don't know. Isn't it funny how certain information is kind of pushed aside? Right? We had a big competitor of ours. See, let me give you a little background. We started our company Educate. We actually started that company in Tucson. And we moved the company up to Phoenix, to Chandler. And I'm seeing all these professional athletes buy our product online. We don't advertise, we don't market, we do nothing. Somehow, some way, they're finding out about what we do. And I'm seeing these athletes. I'm telling, Tylene, like, wow, these 2 guys play for the Dallas Cowboys. These guys play for the Steelers. That's the Utah Jazz basketball team. That's the San Jose Sharks. Their whole team that they just bought for their team. She's like, so? I'm like, what do you mean so? They're paying retail for products from us. They can have anything they want. And I don't even know how they found out about us. So that brought some credibility, but it also brought some drama to us because we started attracting all these people. And you guys remember Steve Nash, the basketball player? Mm-hmm. Steve came to us in 2010. Eileen and I went to his home, and Steve Nash is a pretty clean eater. And he said, listen, I already use several of the products you guys create, and I want you to know they work. And you have no idea how many people and companies approach me to pay me to use their products. And we're like, look, man, we're just a little company. We can't pay you. Sorry, Steve, we love you. Dude was sitting there drinking out of his own cup, by the way. And he starts defending himself because Tylene pops off, the East Coast pop. She just kind of pops off. He goes, no, really, I really don't drink out of my own cup. I just happen to have it here close by. And he says, listen, I don't want you to pay me. I want to be your partner because I can see what you're doing. I want Tylene's thing is I want to save the world. The first time I met her, she said she wanted to save the world. I thought it was kind of corny. I really didn't know what she meant. Now, I live it. But he wanted to help us. And what that did, that brought us credibility, but it also brought us, we're in thousands and thousands of retail stores. And these bottles can't talk. Even with a label on it. They can't talk. And so we were losing ourselves. And so that was really important to us to be able to bring it all back home, if you will, and do this. And we don't care if it's 4 people or 4,000 people. We want to be able to help people help themselves. And this is just simple information that if people only knew this information, it would change their world. I mean, I went to a reunion not too long ago, and I'm looking at the guys that I graduated with in high school. I don't even recognize these guys. I'm like, man, you were an athlete, man. What happened? What happened? It's food. It's nutrition. It's do you break your food down? Who in here, if I can ask, Does anyone use any of our enzymes yet? I know some of you have. Anyone got anything that you want to share about any experience? Sure.
My biggest thing is when I started taking this digestive enzyme, just what he said, I realized, and I didn't start out with any aches or pains, but when I started taking it, I can tell if I take it before I eat. By the way, we should tell you, take one before you eat. If you eat something raw, if you're eating carrots, sliced up raw carrots, you don't need it. If you cook your carrots, you need it, right? Because when you cook your carrots, like you said, it's going to eliminate the enzymes. But I started taking this before everything that's cooked or processed. And the biggest thing I noticed is every time I would never eat a big lunch because I seriously wanted to take a nap afterwards. And I would feel myself and I'd drink coffee in the afternoon in order to get that out. And that has totally changed. Like, I was tired before I ate dinner and I took an enzyme, ate dinner, and I got energy from my food. That is the biggest thing I noticed. If I don't have it, I just know that I'm going to have a day that's like a little bit drowsy, right?
Absolutely. Well, Chris, how old your baby?
Yeah, she's almost 2. She'll be 2 in January, and I break it up. I put it in her yogurt because it's totally plant-based. Like, you can break it open and eat it. It seriously tastes like a salad. Right? You break it open, you put it in yogurt. I stir it around and eat it. Yeah.
How's that other little one?
Yeah, the other one's 10 weeks, and she's getting it through filters.
So, okay, good point. Well, let's talk about what happened when she stops getting it through those filters. Let's just say, and by the way, very safe for pregnant women. And when baby goes from breast milk to formula, oftentimes what takes place? Colic. Those little campers are not too happy, and no one else gets happy because they're not happy. You can always take that little capsule, open it up, just put try half in the bottle, and watch that baby stop screaming. Because it'll stop screaming just like that pudding will. It can't process and digest. It just went from breast milk to formulas. And formulas are starting to get better. They're trying to make those better, supposedly, right? I think I started to say why I kind of went to where we got into this retail thing. Our biggest competitor when we were in the retail world, 2 days ago was announced they sold out for 3-point-something billion. Maybe they did it the right way. Just kidding. They sold out to Nestle. Okay? Garden of Life is their name. Garden of Life. We used to be in Whole Foods and all that stuff. And just somehow, some way, Nestle and Holistic don't go together. I've watched this happen before with companies that sell out. And suddenly, how they create and make those products changes. Yeah. Sometimes it's gradually, but it's sad. It's sad. And money talks. Right? Money talks in so many ways. Who else would share something?
Bonnie has great testimonies.
I
Testimony.
have horrible stomach problems, just the GERD, indigestion, IBS, all those things. I was on 2 Prilosec a day, 40 milligrams, which is a really high dose, and still had breakthrough. I have not taken Prilosec since the day I started the enzymes, and I have no issues there. I was in an automobile accident, hurt my hip really bad. There's nothing to do. I was in severe pain for over 10 years. And my hip pain's gone. I've had the same similar thing with my ankle that was fractured and healed wrong because I didn't even know it was fractured in 2003. Severe pain was getting worse this year actually, and that's gone just about. I've just been on them 2 years, but like sometimes if I move it a certain way, I go, oh, I had pain there, and it'll give you a little reminder, but not like the pain.
How long have you been using it?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So, and the energy, just like Crystal. Exactly the same thing. I slept through all my classes in college. So every time I went to sleep, and I'm telling you, I have energy, and another thing I'll tell you, I'm not sleeping at all. So, anyway, it's really phenomenal, and my mind is clear, although I'm not sleeping, so I think there's a little bit of a thing there. But anyway, it's really helped.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and see how you are in 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Which is pretty neat to see. And we're all different. Our bodies are all different. I want you to know, digestive issues, fantastic. fantastic, and there's a whole myriad of digestive issues. Without digestive issues, it's awesome as well. So we spend most of our time talking about that just because it's imperative that you know no matter what you're eating, you got to digest it. Obviously, eat better foods and not so good foods. We're not going to go into all that right now. Another thing that we do, we're really grateful for this Trinant company because they came to us because we lead with education, they lead with education, and that's why they were watching us and they were hearing. So it's all just kind of come together. So we're very blessed to kind of be with them just to help spread the word. Because that's really, I mean, my wife was actually, yesterday morning they launched a couple of our products, a few of our products, and she was crying. And she's tough East Coast. I'm like, what are you crying about? You know, what's going on over here at the computer? And she goes, I just can't. You know, she goes, it was my dream. I wanted an enzyme army. I wanted people to help save the world, and that's just her deal. If you guys meet her, you'll know how passionate she is. And so it's just we're truly grateful to have the platform to help more people. The next thing that we brought to the company is just a multivitamin mineral antioxidant product, which is all from food and plants. That's really important. When and if you're taking a vitamin or supplement, I would ask you to look at what you're taking, because 9 out of 10 vitamins and supplements in the United States are still made with synthetic ingredients. And if you want to take a peek on some of your labels at home, just check it out. Vitamin C is a very common one that you can easily find. And if you see vitamin C as ascorbic acid, that's not vitamin C. Just so you know, that's a piece of what they're trying to synthetically create. So ascorbic acid would be hydrochloric acid, right, in corn syrup. Genetically modified corn syrup almost always. And your body is not hydrochloric acid and corn syrup deficient, right? Don't we get enough poison already? Why would we want to supplement with more poison? Does that make any sense? It's kind of like sometimes when we're asked from a doc, maybe a doctor might ask you to go down to CVS or Walgreens or what have you and get a gazillion milligrams of vitamin C. And it's not the doctor's fault. They're doing what they're supposed to do. And some doctors know more than other doctors. That's all when it comes to nutrition. Some don't know a lot and some do. But you've got to take a ton of milligrams of this synthetic poo to try to get enough into your body that it'll even absorb. How about getting vitamin C from like acerola cherries? Right? Wine, blackcurrant fruit, whatever. I mean, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Get the real stuff. If you're going to put more in it, if you're going to supplement it with something that's real, not fake. Right? Our body is, like we said, nutrient deficient, not drug deficient. I'm not coming down on drugs. I'm not saying there's never a time and a place. I'm just saying your body will respond to things that are only giving to the body. There's a lot of ways you can lose weight, but at what cost to the body? There's a lot of ways you can do a lot of things, but at what cost to your body? Have you ever seen a pharmaceutical drug commercial? Come on, man. Are those not the silliest things on the planet?
Yes.
We have the most famous celebrities and athletes that would go on television and scream from the rooftops what products that we've helped them deal with and what it's done for them, and we're not allowed to. It's not legal for us to. We need an army of people. We need you to understand how you can help yourself and your family. And then we need you to tell other people. And it's a shame. We love our country, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Follow the money. But if you've got to take a pill for your headache to go away, but your arm might fall off, I'm going for the headache. I'm going for the headache. The thing I left out on the digestion, have you ever heard your gut's called the other brain? Your gut is called the other brain. And if your blood cells are traveling through your body and carrying nutrients, let's say from your big toe to your brain, when they get there, they need to have nutrients to drop off. If it's a package, it's like the UPS guy coming here and we open the box, there's nothing in it. What's up, man? That ain't right. It's the same thing with your nutrients. Does our country have some brain issues right now? Are we on some stuff to deal with all these things? I wonder what would happen if more nutrients were getting delivered to the brain in the first place. Maybe we wouldn't have all these issues, right? And we're so quick to label these things. ADD, ADHD, ABCD, EFG, all these things. Autism, don't get me started. We do a lot of speaking for autism organizations. I mean, where did that come from? Do some research on that. That'll open your eyes. It didn't even really exist in the past. There's studies that'll show you 1 out of 52, 1 out of 54 now, children born in this country are born, right, somewhere on the autism, on the spectrum. I read something not too long ago that said, I think it'll be within 12 years from now, if something doesn't change in the United States, 1 out of 2 children born will be born on the spectrum. That's a different looking world. Stuff's happening. We have to wake up and take control of what's happening. We can't be sheep any longer. You have an opportunity to educate yourself. And don't just follow the herd, right? It doesn't make any sense. We have to wake up. So we're going to give you a digestive enzyme with a little bit of probiotics. We're going to give you a multivitamin, mineral, antioxidant. Because we don't get the nutrients we need in our food anymore. It starts with the soil, goes to the food. It is what it is. Okay? Antioxidants, we need a lot of them. Minerals, quickly on minerals. The way we do our minerals is this. We chelate our minerals with the amino acid glycine. It's a patented way. It was the original way. And the reason why we use this is because we want the body to decide if it wants the minerals at that time. We never want to force something into the body. Plenty of people out there force things in. It's chelated. Yeah, but like fructose. They're shoving things into the body. What if the body doesn't want that? Picture it like this. If we were out all day today and we were running around outside, and now we came in, we went to dinner, and we had some spinach. So let's say you and I, we were hanging out today, and you were indoors and I was out there, whatever, but we got together right now, we had dinner, we each had spinach, and your body is like, I don't need any iron right now. I'm inside. Let's say I was outside, my body's like, I need that iron. I don't get sick, or he doesn't get sick for eating them, right? He's like, oh, you ate too much spinach, you're sick now. No, that's not right? Because his body takes what it wants at that time and at that moment. Does that make sense? Okay, give your body the choice. Give your body what it needs and let it heal itself. Give your body what it needs and let it heal itself. I didn't say this. I didn't say anything else. Give your body a chance. What are you going to give your body that gives it a chance? You want to think clearer? You want to think clearer? We'll give you one more product that Trinan is calling Vibe. I love this product. We originally were creating this for the ADD type stuff. So it is a mental clarity and focus, real good vitamin B, creates true energy, not stimulant energy. It all goes back to the beginning. Because what if you start getting nutrients from your food, and all of a sudden you don't need all the stimulants because you're getting energy from your food? Here's one, and maybe it's some of you, no judgment. I hear this all the time. We were up, Crystal said we were up at this cabin teaching, and we were. And we were up way too late. All these people were there, and they call it a cabin. This thing's like 30,000 square feet. That's like we watched, and we know where they're coming from. And I remember it was like 11:30 at night, and I was down there in the kitchen checking it out, what's going on, what can I have? And there was 2 guys over there. I'm like, man, is that coffee? Is that decaf? No, I was like, I don't drink decaf. I'm like, you can drink coffee right now? Oh, I can drink 6, 7 cups right now. I'm like, what? That's not a good thing. His adrenals are gone. We've smashed our adrenals. Go figure. Rock stars, monsters, caffeine. Starbucks loves us. Sugar, caffeine, over and over and over. You guys, this is horrible. This is horrible. It's ridiculous. There are countries that have banned those drinks. They've banned them. They banned them from the get-go. It gets even better. Let's go to the club and get some vodka and some Red Bull. Now I'm really going to do some justice to my body. Now, I'm not saying you can't ever do. You do what you do. It's your body. It's your life. But you only have one. This is your temple. What are you going to do with it? So it starts with digestion. Then you need vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. That's kind of our house. That's our base, right? Best time to take it, Crystal said it, 1 or 2 right before you eat. If you forget, you still have a 15-minute window. If you take those in between meals, they will work systemically, meaning they will go through your body kind of like the old Pac-Man game, and they'll look for stuff to clean up. Okay? And that's when enzymes clean your blood. Your blood is a river of life. And you don't want any jams going on. You don't want anything clogging up your river of life. You can prevent so many issues you have no idea. We can't tell you much because we're not allowed. But I promise you this. We've done this thousands of times. Sean, I've got this pain. Don't say the word. But try this and tell me in 3 weeks what's up. Sean, my cholesterol is ridiculous. Try this. Go get it checked again in 3 weeks. Tell me what's up. Okay? So these are things that create results. And that's what it's all about. It's not to sell you anything. Do whatever you want to do. But start looking at things differently. Because you have way more power than you think you have. And there are some amazing doctors on this planet. And there are some not so amazing doctors on this planet. Find yourself, if you got a good doc, man, be grateful you have a good doc. Ask questions. Ask questions. And look at what you're eating. Because everything comes back to that. I have no idea what time it is, so I'm going to be quiet.
Am I allowed to read testimonies or no?
Do whatever you want. I'm just here for
Okay.
you. This is your world.
This is our really good friend Jeff Belleville. He said, so a few of us have been on these digestive enzymes. Is the one I'm going to talk about. We have 3 products, but the digestive enzyme is the one that people can't shut up once they start taking them. They can't live without them. He says, I'm freaking out. Some of you may not know this about me. I've been lactose intolerant and gluten intolerant most of my life. It's just something I've had to deal with over the last year. I've been super concerned about having a major digestive disease like Crohn's, leaky gut, or colitis. Daily, I had stabbing pain and bad digestion resulting in major fatigue. After eating and weight gain, I was heavier than I've ever been. I took a dose of these enzymes and my pain went away, and I was all of a sudden regular. Naturally skeptical, I waited for the issues to return. It's been over a month and I've been pain-free. He's been taking these every meal. I can't imagine I was absorbing any nutrients from my food. Now I have more energy than ever and I'm losing weight. That's one.
Wow.
I've got just a couple more. Photos. Oh gosh, this is not my phone.
Photos too, huh? My share.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Here's another one. I've been on our Life is the name of our enzyme product. So I've been on our Life enzyme probiotic and balanced multivitamin since November 7th. I've stopped taking all of my other supplements except biotin, and I chew C because I wanted to see how it did. Also, since then, I've been able to stop taking Zyrtec and Benadryl. I was taking Benadryl daily to keep a rash away. She had a constant rash on her skin. I had a complete blood drawn today, and I'm happy to report all of my levels came back to 100%. No deficiency at all. That's the first time in years. I can't wait to start selling these. One more from Greg Sarlo, who's in New Mexico. I'm freaking out. Some of you might not know this about me. I have chronic heartburn and stomach issues. It's just something I've had to deal with for 15 plus years. Over the last few years, I've been super concerned about having a major digestive disease. Nightly, I was woken up by burning liquid in my esophagus, miserable. This is a long one, so I'm going to go down. I took the dose of these enzymes and my pain went away. I was also skeptical. It's been almost a month without any of these issues. More energy, better mood, no heartburn.
Very cool. Yeah, I want to make a comment. If someone's taking prescriptions, go to your doc, show them what you want to do, start utilizing. Most of the time, you're fine with prescriptions. However, enzymes clean your blood. So for an example, let's say someone's on a blood thinning type medication. It's just gonna work more. Does that make sense? Because you've got that med cleaning the blood, or thinning the blood, and you have enzymes cleaning the blood. So always consult with your doc. If you wanna know, if you're taking things, ask. Here's what I'd like to do. See, there's so many things you can do, you just have to ask. You've gotta find out more. Yes, sir.
Would you take this 3, 4, 5 times a day if you're eating whatever 3 meals or 5 meals or?
Yes, if they were cooked or heated, I would. So for example, a salad, you think, well, salad's fresh and living. Yes, until you put maybe that chicken breast on there or ranch dressing, right? And then you would take an enzyme with that. So listen to your body. Like today, I'm sorry, Bob. I did. I took 4. And I wouldn't have, even told you that, but
4
Todd
for
took,
1 meal?
yeah, my buddy Todd took a picture of me and posted it, and so he sold me out. So I'm everybody here. But I took 4 with that meal because I'm like, holy cow, am I gonna eat that? First of all. And I am going to enjoy it, but I also want to enjoy my life after I eat. I want to be able to come here and talk to everyone here without wanting to go pass out. So, yes.
So we don't want to keep you past
Yeah.
8, so here's what we're going to do. We'll take 3 questions, but we'll stick around. Before the 3 questions, the 3 products we have, Life, Balance, and
Vibe.
Sorry. We just launched yesterday, but we're not launching for customers until Monday.
You can call it.
Huh? You can call in. Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know
you
that.
can call it.
So whoever invited you here, if you want the nutrition data of all of these products, we have it all. Our goal is just to spread the word. You can obviously see that people are interested in this stuff. And our goal is to just help people feel better. And the more people we have out there feeling better, spreading the word, getting these enzymes out, the better. But we'll get you all the information about the product. Just see the person who invited you here. Let's take 3 questions. You want to start?
Mine's pretty simple and quick.
Okay.
So you have your life and then you have your multivitamins that you created, and you were saying that there are a lot of nutrients in the second one. But what if you took the 2 together? Do they work together?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, all the products that we create, by the way, this is just the tip of the iceberg that we're bringing into Trinan. We're actually developing right now a chocolate,
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
chocolate vanilla vegan friendly shake. We've got about 30. So we primarily in the past, before we got into the retail world, we were doing things for doctors. So really, our philosophy was more of a therapeutic lifestyle one, if you will. So my wife has a passion for helping the docs, because the docs have a passion to, the good ones, for helping their patients. And so anything she could do to help them, she wanted to do that. But yes, so all the products we make have our plant enzyme delivery system. I would take of the Balance, which is our multivitamin mineral antioxidant, I would take 2 or 3 of those a day for most people. Some people take it once, 3 times a day. Some will take, I do a couple in the morning. I've actually been upping it. But typically a couple in the morning, a couple in the afternoon. Athletes tend to take more, right? So, you bet. Yes.
I've had gastric bypass surgery. One of the things that I have a problem with is I have dumping syndrome, and all food makes me sick. After I eat, very sick, wrench all the time. Will the enzymes help this?
So here's what I will say.
Okay.
From experience, absolutely. And you can chat a little bit with Tylene as well, but yes, we've had great success with what.
Okay.
So, yes.
My question is this: I'm a diabetic, so a lot of you don't know that, but I'm a diabetic that doesn't have a gallbladder anymore.
Mm.
So I don't have that extra digestive thing going on
Yeah.
because I don't have a gallbladder. How are these enzymes gonna help me?
They're gonna help you tremendously. Right there. Don't even get time started on this. We're so quick to remove stuff.
Right,
Ah, we'll just cut that out.
right.
You know, I mean,
I've had my appendix taken out at the same time.
yes. Did you know my wife's journey on this started after she had her appendix removed? She wasn't into any of this. She actually went to school for fashion. And she asked her surgeon, she asked, what is the appendix for? And he couldn't answer. And he says, well, you just don't need it anymore. It's one of those things like the tonsils, you don't need those. And she's like, well, God kind of put that there. Isn't there a reason we need it? And that's what actually started her research. So I will chat with you after. Yes. Yes.
I know you're only supposed to have 3, but I've been asked this 14 times. So there's gonna be a lot of people that might have the same question. Doesn't your body start to reproduce more enzymes when you start taking more enzymes?
Okay. Plant enzymes are what we're into. There are also what are called animal or pancreatic enzymes. Those enzymes, which are most of the time sold, are sucked out of pigs, sheep, cattle, you name it, slaughterhouse. Kind of doesn't feel like nature to me. The suck goes out over here to the slaughterhouse, and then I'm going to feed them to you. We're not into that because not that those can't work, but at what cost to the body? Because in that methodology, we believe it starts to mimic your pancreas. Okay? It's not about producing more, it's about preserving more. We have digestive enzymes, and we have what are called metabolic enzymes, which when we run out of those, we pass. Right? Why would we want to use our metabolic enzymes to digest our food? If the anti-aging thing, or if you're into that, tons of research with taking plant enzymes to help that process. Because think about it. If your metabolic enzymes, if you're having to use the life of your body to help digest your food, when your body's deficient in something, what does it do? Where does it go? Where does it start pulling from?
Itself.
Your hair, your skin, your nails, bone. All these things start taking place. So, yeah, it's the preserving that we're talking about. It's a great question. Yes.
Can I just piggyback on something that you said just...
Only if you'll show everyone your abs.
Seriously?
Come here. Come here. This will be our infomercial.
If you want abs like this guy.
Just take a picture.
Wow. Those are some nice abs.
I always say I'm on abs, man. Then I see his and I used to be his director of sales, so that's just so there's no confusion in terms of how many to take. As Sean mentioned, if you're eating raw and living foods, you don't have to take them. But if you throw a chicken breast on a salad, you're going to need to take an enzyme. If you have the dressing, you're talking about one enzyme. But the bigger the meal, the more enzymes. If you're high in protein, the higher the protein content, more enzymes, because most of us have difficulty breaking down protein. So the higher the protein, more enzymes, the bigger the meal, the more enzymes. Make sense? And best, like if you're at a restaurant, you know you're ordering your meal, got maybe a 10, 15 minute wait, take them right then. Because if you know you're going to eat and you can take them 20 minutes prior, they're going to work better.
What are they made of? What kind of plants?
There's a whole, and I'm gonna just cut it short, there's a whole, and I'll stay here with you, plethora of what we do, and I'll go into that with you. I just wanna keep everyone, is anyone else cold in here?
Yeah.
Andrew, do you have
Jeremy said, you know, shut it off.
Okay, we can get you what's in all of the stuff. We can get you the nutrition label.
I swear.